Welcome to Total Fitheads.
Serious fitness for not so serious people.
Hello, Max.
Oh, hi. How you doing, Spagnola?
I'm good. Where did that come from? Why do you call me that?
Uh, that's partly your name. I don't. What do you
Partly
mean?
my name. Partly just someone else's name put together.
Uh, yeah. I guess I don't know. Agatha, is that it? Or
Yeah.
yeah. I don't know. It's a
I,
nickname. Jeez, Louise. I didn't realize you were so touchy about your nickname.
it'd be like if I called you Sam Max.
Doesn't really roll off the tongue. I gotta tell you.
It's someone else's
That's
name
like
and your name put
like if I
together.
called you Sam Max Alexandria, just like that. I don't know. It's a nickname. You don't get to choose your own nickname. Did you have any?
That's
Your
true.
your
No,
normal
rappers
nicknames?
do.
That's their stage name. That's their artist presence name. Lady Gaga.
When I was a kid, I was like, I'm gonna change my name to Allie Love. That's so much more. I know. It's obviously I look back and I'm like, that's stupid.
Uh-huh.
But that was going to be my stage name because it's so much easier to say and remember than Spagnola. And now everyone's like, what's your channel again? How do I? It's not good
It's
to
not
just
good. You
communicate to people.
you regret it?
And I started watching this show on Netflix called 100 Dancers or Dance 100.
You mean
And the
Fitness
host
100?
of that, no, there's a new one, Dance 100, which you should watch. It's fucking freaking epic. Um, and the host, her name is Allie Love.
No way.
Way.
You gotta DM her for sure. Be like, babe, I love your name. Just kidding. I hate it. Just kidding. I'll fight you to the death for it. Just kidding. I'll dance you off for it. Dance battle.
13-year-old me really loves your name. So it worked for her. I don't know. Do you think it's a stage name or do you think it's really hers? She, previous to
stage name
this,
for
was a
sure.
soul cycle instructor. So do our soul cycle instructors now prescient enough to know to change their name because they're going to end up hosting a show on Netflix and also having people that they don't want to know how they file their taxes?
Yeah. I love that I have my weird name. I heard this
Yeah.
really interesting interview with Lady Gaga, and they were like, because she's acting more consistently now. She's a good actress, I think, but she's in the new Joker movie. And the guy was like, now you're credited as Lady Gaga, not as Stephanie, whatever her. I actually don't even know her real name.
Yeah, it
but
is
that's
definitely
probably
though.
by design. Or
Yeah.
I don't know her full name. She was like, yeah, I didn't want people to think that Lady Gaga was like something I had to make up to a character I made up or something to hide behind. It was something that I'm proud of. That is the name of my artistic presence. That's who I create art as. And so no, I'm not ashamed of it in any way. I'm proud of it. And so yeah, I want to be credited
Interesting.
that way. Because I've
Well,
been
so then
on
she's also pulling that I'm authentic BS, which actually she is playing a character.
she absolutely is playing a character.
Ugh.
But like I've been on, like I have an IMDb page, not to brag, but of the very few things
What?
that I've acted in, sometimes it's my name and sometimes it's Max No Sleeves. And I was always like, I don't know, do I change it, or because No Sleeves is a pretty ridiculous last name.
Yeah.
But I don't
And
hate it. I
constantly
like
invites
it quite
critique
a
of your
bit.
outfit.
Of course. But fine. That's an easy thing for someone to talk to me about when they don't have
Yeah.
anything else to say to me. And I'm like, fine, if that's what you want to bring up, knock yourself out. But I don't hate it. But I was always wondering, like, should I give that up and just use like a real actor name? But also real actors' names aren't their real names. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They have really long, ridiculous, very ethnic names that they then shortened for the stage or for the screen, or because the manager told them to, or because their racist talent agency in 1999 said there's too many vowels in that name. We need to, you know what I mean? There's all these weird
Yeah.
stories like that where they're like,
I have an example that I had to Google it because I couldn't remember. John Wayne's original name.
yeah,
You know this one?
it's
Marion Robert Morrison,
right.
which is
And
still
at the
pretty
time, I
badass.
don't even know what the critique of that would be, but I'm
I
sure at the
think they said
time,
he was too Jewish sounding.
oh, jeez Louise.
I could be corrected on that, but that's what I heard.
You're Jewish. There's no such thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I don't know. I think I always thought it was funny that your stage name is just your regular name. And I like that my stage name,
Yeah.
I guess, is not my real name. But I
So
also,
what?
my real name is not, or my first name is not Max. Legally, that's
Yeah.
not my name. So I've
Well,
had a whole
same.
lifetime of, you know, having a name that everyone calls me and then having a different name that I fill out on my SATs or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and some people, hold on. What did you land on? What after the Lady Gaga interview? What do you want to be moving forward?
Well, frankly, I only saw that interview like 3 days ago. So I don't know if I
We're at
made the
that moment.
decision yet.
Make the decision. Okay.
I don't know. I don't I really don't know. And there's another guy, there's another YouTuber, Tim De La Ghetto. Do you know him?
Mm-hmm.
And he recently changed his name to his actual last name on all his socials. And he said it was because his representation was like, you're a real actor now, or you're trying to get real traditional media work, voiceover acting, whatever. We can't be, you know what I
Be
mean? And I always
professional.
was
Your last
like,
name's
I
Wayne.
don't, yeah, exactly. I was like, I don't know if I agree with that. I don't think I would. I guess I kind of wanted to keep no sleeves. And now that I have this Lady Gaga validation in my back pocket,
You're like, yeah.
I'm like, hell yeah, yeah. Guns
Right.
out. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I mean, it's not like I'm getting bombarded with movie star acting roles. So, so I don't,
Or you have some sort of copyright dispute, so if you change your name to a symbol.
yeah, that's a great idea.
Wasn't he in some legal battle where he that's why he did that?
Tim
Prince.
Prince, I think he did. Yeah, I think
I
there
didn't
was
realize that wasn't
one.
his last name.
Oh
I'm
no,
realizing now it means of the ghetto, that like it was a joke about him being from the ghetto.
it's
Or is that
it's a joke from. I think it's from. Well, I don't know if this was what he referenced it, but I know that Fresh Prince of Bel Air had a name like that.
yeah.
I think it was Will De La Ghetto,
Yeah.
but I'm not sure if it was him or somebody else. But this is like the beginning of a sitcom that's been off the air for 20 years. So I'm like,
Yeah.
I'll have to go back and look at the archives. But I think he was trying to be a poet and he just made that name up.
Yeah.
I think that's what it was, but I guess I'm not. But no, that wasn't
Huh.
his real last name. But yeah, isn't that weird? Stage names versus real names. And what's real? I mean, I don't know. I made it up.
Yeah.
But what
I
were you? I mean, what would you have
I
been?
also had a fake
Spags?
name. I had a fake name in college that I would tell people when I didn't want to talk to them. They
Oh,
were,
God.
dudes would come up and introduce themselves, and I'm like, "Hi, yes, I'm Stephanie Smith." And so then all my friends knew that, like, nope, this was a nope. But then,
That's
of course,
funny.
you still end up talking to them, and then now you're
Yeah.
Stephanie for the night, and it's like whatever. And then
I
it
don't,
turns out they're your best friend, and then you have to lie for years
that's
because
exactly
you
what
thought you
happened to
wouldn't
me.
like this dude.
Yeah. There was a guy who
So
introduced himself to me as Pete in college first day, and he thought it was funny. His real name was Mike. And he was like, no, I was just messing with you. And I was like, good joke, Pete. And I called him Pete for 4 years out of spite, basically. He ended up like dating one of my
good
good
joke.
friends, and like it was you know what I mean? He was
This
like
actual
really in the
happened.
social circle. It's like, what's Pete up to? And everyone's like, who's Pete? And I'm like, him right there. This your Pete, right? He's Pete, everyone. And they're like, I thought his name was Mike. And I'm like, nope, it's Pete. That was it. Like, what a cool joke.
Uh, when
I should
you're
have changed the name. So I apologize, Pete/Mike. And literally, I got people to call him Pete/Mike because it was so, or no, Mike/Pete.
wow.
Yeah. But go ahead, play a joke on me. I dare you.
I do. Now it's an ongoing thing and everybody's in on it.
Yeah.
I did get a curveball because then a Stephanie Smith joined my sorority. I know.
Did you
And I'm
kill
like,
her?
I'm trying to pick the most generic name possible because it's hilariously generic. And you're
Mhm.
just living your life like that.
She's like, I know. Welcome to my prison.
Couldn't get my own web domain. 17 other Stephanie Smiths are bidding it up.
In every possible spelling.
Ugh. Oh, there are people online too that will like insult comment about me and try and make it harsher by saying like, Alicia, this is cringe. Or no, sorry, they'll say Allison, this is cringe. And I'm like, ha ha, I don't know who you're talking to because you don't know my real name.
It
You
is
just could
odd
have
how
looked it up
many.
easily.
That's so weird that they would like try to a different angle to cut you deeper. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What goes through the mind of someone to be like, I'm gonna first of all, who writes a hate comment? Second of all, not only am I gonna write a hate comment, I'm gonna make it like more civilized so it'll hurt her even more because I'm like my perspective is so like I'm such a regal guy that my tastes are so sophisticated and that'll hurt her even more. I'm like, thanks, user 9156, like cool,
You
man.
got me.
Yes.
But they did. You're tougher than me. I'll it's also a fault of the human brain that negativity is weighed heavier and you think negative comments are from smarter people than positive comments.
Is that right? I don't know that.
Yeah.
I thought they
Yeah.
just
And I
stuck
find
with you
myself
longer.
doing that. I'm like, oh, he must be smart. He knows what bad is. But they also stick with you longer. I've heard the stat is 5 nice comments are equal to 1 mean in power, which that's like arbitrary, but
Also, how are they measuring that? I mean, the amount of people that have had to deal with mean comments has gone up exponentially in the last 10, 15 years, right? But before that, it was and before that, it was how are they tracking these comments? Twitter's been around for 20
it was
years,
just
right?
us. And now everyone has a profile.
Yeah. And now everyone comments on everybody else. Everyone like deals with haters, air quotes. And I'm like, yeah, it sucks. And I don't know, like you'd think.
But
But
that
I'm saying like
question,
how are they studying that? Because the data
oh
set has only
no.
been around for 5 years, really. Before that, it's like people can hate on basketball players, but what are they going to do? Write letters to Sports Illustrated, the magazine? Like what? Who cares?
uh what you asked earlier, who writes a mean comment? I think about this all the time. And
Mhm.
list any of your friends that would go on the internet and type something mean to the person who created something there. You can't. The list is 0 people.
I know.
No one you hang out with would do that, right? And so it's got to be a huge
Lonely
percentage of the
population.
population is saying nothing.
Oh yeah.
But the only percent that we see saying anything are that small percentage of person that says mean things.
Right. I
So it
wonder
feels
what.
like everyone,
Right.
but it's really like 1% of the population that would go speak their mind to a stranger in a very mean way.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. First step, who would comment anything? Very small number of people. Second step, of those
It's
people
probably nice.
commenting. Yeah.
So here's everyone, and then here are the commenters, and then here are the ones saying something mean.
Right.
But what do we see? The mean ones fill up the whole space. And now I'm convinced now the human race is mean because I'm on the internet.
Yeah. Yeah. And now it's expanded, I think it's expanded into everything. Everybody thinks, oh man, Harry Potter fans are toxic or Selena Gomez fans are toxic, and you're like, well, of the 100 billion Selena Gomez fans, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. The really
I'm sure
vocal
they're
ones.
a bunch of them are pretty nice people.
Yeah. But has it expanded into the real world, I pose an argument that, I mean, especially during the pandemic, I felt a lot more vitriol, and people felt they had the right to tell other people to put their masks on. Not that you shouldn't wear a mask, but like there was more of the like telling people what
Right.
they should
Oh, you
do.
shouldn't do this. You should do that. You should wear
Yeah.
a mask here. You know, you don't
Or
have
like
to wear a
stay
mask
away from,
there,
yeah,
you know.
all of those
Either
things.
way,
It
people were
became
getting
more
hit.
entitled to speak your opinion in person.
But they weren't in person. Or I guess they were in person.
I mean, like at the grocery store or whatever.
Yeah,
When we were,
yeah. They were definitely like there was a
because we
real
had this mom, which is the government telling us these rules, and then we're the kids at the playground being like, "Mom said,"
right.
or "Don't
Well,
listen to mom. Mom's wrong."
it's mom's. My mom said you should put a mask on. Really? My mom said they don't do anything. So you're stupid, you know?
And then we're just shoving each other.
Right. And then I'm throwing sand in your face. You're pushing me off a slide or, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Yeah.
So I feel like
Speaking of
more of
moms,
that.
shout out to your mom.
Shout out to my mom,
I win. That's a
who
point for me.
number one benevolent dictator on the planet. My
Yeah.
mom. Yeah, really well. Smooth segue. Usually the mom comment is just a little
I know.
shoved in there.
We gotta start keeping score for a smooth mom segue versus
Yeah.
a clunky one should almost be like a -1. Like a minus. No, -1. That was a stupid one. Yeah, I don't know. Putting on or taking off masks was one of the weirdest part of that whole thing because everyone got so worked up about it. Remember, guys would wear like panties on their face on airplanes to be like, it's basically the same thing. And I'm like, dude, you're a 50-year-old man. Like, what are you doing? I hated it.
I did not see that, but cool for your uncle.
The Jack.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, maybe I'm reading into it, but I feel like people felt more entitled to mean comment in person since then. I don't know if it's gone down.
But is that a mean comment?
No. Okay.
Or is that a and they weren't saying like, hey, your haircut sucks.
Yeah, I don't like
hey,
your
please
art.
do this thing for all of us for the
telling people what to do.
Whatever.
Yeah, that's fair. Fine. Different episode.
But I guess I don't know. I hate I used to really get stuck up on the comment. I think it's like anything. It's like anything you don't like. You get the reps in and your sensitivity to it goes way, way, way down, you know.
What? No, I totally agree with callousing and systematic desensitization. It does not work for mean comments.
Really?
For me. I mean, every single thing just it slices my heart, no matter how much my frontal cortex knows that this person is not smart and that I should not pay attention. I feel really bad.
What if it's about something? I feel like the ones that still hurt me are the ones that I also believe. So
I believe everything bad about me. That must be it.
I believe you're very receptive to people's advice. And so, like, certainly doing this podcast with you, every single person that's come on, whether it's like,
oh, sorry, my alarm went off for heavy water. I just got to go grab my dose.
Make sure it was iron blessed or whatever.
Blessed by the science gods.
Throw that gold crucifix or cross in there. Not crucifix.
I blame my art degree. I went through 4 years of my job was to get bashed, to just be told what I'm making should be better. And then I got a job at a startup where I would make things, and my job again was to be told to change them, that they were wrong and should be better and different. And
what were you doing? Were you doing like graphic design?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. artist at a
So
video game
not
company.
so an illustrator, not a you created their vision,
I
right?
mean, I
That's
would
the
make my
illustration.
vision and then we would have to adjust it. I was the lead artist, by the way. So, and by that I mean it was very small, so I was also the only artist. But
You were your own intern.
so I was doing graphics, animations, even the website, but it was always my job to just take feedback and make adjustments. And you can't get emotionally tied to what you're making, or you have to put a lot of worth on the incoming critique, or perhaps offer to drink expensive water for no reason.
Yeah.
So I'm
I think
constantly open to, oh, yeah, you're probably right. Let me take that in and use it.
Yeah.
You don't
You
feel that way about yourself, though?
I go through phase waves for sure. Certain phases I'm very insecure, very open to suggestion, interpretation, whatever. And then there's waves where I'm like, I am the smartest, most beautiful person on the planet, and I don't need to listen to you,
Yeah.
Mr. President.
They Tina Fey talks about some bossy pants. I think you mentioned you read it, yeah.
Well, she read
Yeah.
it to me.
I know. Love that.
Pretty good job.
Uh-huh.
I really like when the author reads their own. If it's nonfiction, if it's fiction, I want a voice actor. I want somebody
Yeah,
to
okay.
be a pro.
Well, sometimes if it's like a book on negotiation, not that I've read several or listened to several, but even Dave Asprey, you can tell he's like, I have other things to do. I'm going to pay somebody to do this.
Oh, that's
even though
funny.
he's a celebrity in his own right, it's like he's going to outsource that. That makes sense to me. And so I almost am like, well, you're a dummy for wasting your time reading to me.
Well, you never know. I mean, he's a celebrity now. If he was just starting out, he'd want his voice out there. Or if he doesn't trust somebody else to sort of relay the information the way he would want it to be relayed, or
he thinks they'll do a better job. I think he
that's
questioned
true.
his abilities and also had other stuff to do. Tina
Well,
Fey, it makes sense. She's hilarious and we want it from her.
She's a performer, and that's part of the book was about standing up for yourself, performing. I mean, my two favorite, I picked it up because of the improv rules for life, or how she was like, I think it's some speech she was giving or some interview. She was like, yeah, I took improv rules and I apply them to my life. And I really liked that idea. Say yes and expand. I like those two ideas quite a bit. But it was also one of those books, and I really don't like this. I think I've told you this. I've read a couple of not autobiographies, but professional autobiographies of wildly successful people, especially people in creative fields, comedy. And they're always like, they never really have, not that I'm looking for it, but there's not even an inkling to why they were successful from them. They're like, yeah, I don't know. I just like kept trying and people liked it. And then I don't know, I guess that was it. And now I have my own show on NBC. You know what I mean? And I'm like, there's something in there.
Are you sure?
Happened. What did she say?
Oh, no, because you want her to be like, well, I met this person that opened this store, and doing this reverse engineering this will help you succeed.
Or I was doing it this way, it wasn't working, and I was like, you know what I should do? I should change my thinking and try this thing.
Yeah.
But they're never like that. They're like, I just kept plugging along, and then suddenly it was wildly successful. Like even talking about 30 Rock, she was like, we were on and none of us knew if we were going to get picked up for another season, and we were all like planning on getting different jobs, and I was horrified for my staff and blah blah blah. And then oops, we got 11 Emmys and blah 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 blah, blah. And I'm like, well, something in between those two things happened.
I mean, it's an argument for luck, which I think we don't talk about enough in society. You just got to, a huge portion of anyone's success is luck. And you could do the exact same thing at a slightly different time or be a slightly different person and miss that element, but work just as hard and be just as talented and not get 11 Emmys.
Yeah, maybe get 12 Emmys. Anyway, I feel like that's
Yeah.
happened a couple of times. I forget who the other one was, but I
So you're
realized
mad
it
that
on
it
Tina
wasn't,
Fey.
yeah.
Not that I'm mad, but I'm like, it's a question of I don't know. It's hard for me to sort of grasp that there was no light bulb moment for these people, that they just kept like, and if you don't know, then you should be aware, like, as some executive at NBC fought like hell for me to keep the show on, and behind the scenes it was bloodbath of, who's the, blah blah blah, like something, give me something. Don't just be like, I started writing and then I own, and now I'm writing this book based on how
Yeah.
successful I am. Oh, Bob Odenkirk, that was the other one. I listened to him tell the story, and it was very similar. He was like, I did this show called Mr. Smart. I can't remember what it was, like a comedy show early on,
Hmm.
got canceled right away. He at least had some inkling of it, which was that he did this really funny show that got canceled right away. And then, but off of that, people kept calling him to be like, hey, I remember that show. That was great. Do you want to play this role? And
So
then he
that's
would
what
get
helps
this
him
role and
unlock.
that.
Yeah.
And so it was a little bit of luck to get the first show, but he sort of he mentioned that he was like, yeah, it's crazy that all this stuff kept coming out of this rinky dink show that I made, that it was canceled. Nobody thought it was funny except for all the creative people that ended up hiring me years later. Like,
Yeah.
that's something. Not a great one, but it's something.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I want to counter that. Too many successful people look back in their life and they're like, this is why it happened. And then a lot of it has to do with me.
Yeah. I heard one the other day. It
And
was
you
really
can do
funny.
it too.
It was Ben Stiller, and he was saying he's doing a bit about his history, and he was like, I started out writing comedy in college, and then um, through blood, sweat, tears, and hard work, I got a job writing at SNL. And by blood, sweat, tears, and hard work, I mean my dad called Lorne Michaels and asked him to give me a job, and Lorne said
Oh,
yes.
wow.
And I'm like, all right, that's cool. But, he got in, and then he worked his balls off, and then, you know what I mean? And then now he's one of the funniest people ever, obviously. But at least funny people are like sort of self-aware like that.
Yeah.
Although, who are we talking to? Oh, I was listening to an interview. I thought this was really funny. An interview with Ashton Kutcher, and he was talking about punked. Do you remember punked, where he
I do.
punked people? The question was like, did you have any bad guests, or did you have any people that like wouldn't sign the waiver afterwards? Because you do it, and then they're
Because they
like,
were
okay.
so mad that what happened to them.
And he was like, honestly, what happened like an alarming number of times, or a consistent number of times, would be we'd punk people, they would be screwed, like really bad, and then they'd just die laughing afterwards. Except for comedians. Comedians were consistently really mad and wouldn't sign the waiver for the show, or they would like throw a fit afterwards, and we would like want to cut it, but not really, because they were such jerks. And so
Yeah.
comedians were the worst for at getting punked.
Interesting.
Yeah. I think they want to be in on the joke. They don't want to be the
Yeah.
joke. That's a
I
big
was gonna say this is probably a
difference.
sign I'd be bad at stand up because I would not. I would be one of those people like, oh my god, I can't wait for you to make money on me looking stupid. So I'll never be a good comedian.
Yeah. I don't know. Stand up's weird.
It's rough, and the way to do it is a really crappy system. And I keep thinking there's got to be a better way, but nobody's solving that, and I'm certainly not going to.
Well, it's an outdated system. And it's a what are the rules of stand up? Can I use a guitar? Can I use a puppet? Like, the rules of stand up are you
Oh,
stand
he's a
up,
prop comic.
you know what I mean? Can I mime? Is that not respected? Like, the stand up is you stand up and talk and make people laugh, I think. But there's all these weird, like, I don't know, stand-ups are, I know a couple of comics, and they're a weird bunch for sure.
Yeah.
Like, I think because it's so hard emotionally, or psychologically that they like, if you're not struggling, they don't respect you. If you're not
Mm.
sad, they don't, you know what I mean? All these weird sort of, he's not a real stand. You're like, what is a real stand? Who cares? Like, what do you, I don't know. I mean, as someone who's never done it, maybe I should
Right.
just, maybe I should shut up a little bit, but
Yeah, there is that unwritten rule that you need to be surly, have like a negative outlook.
weird.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. So
Comics.
don't punk any comics. I look around a lot of times and I'm like, am am I getting punked? Where's the camera? You know, and especially now with YouTube, quote unquote, pranksters, like anything sort of out of the ordinary happens, and I'm like, just 360 degrees. Like, where's that guy with the camera? Where's the there it is. There's the what's up, dude? There's the lens. I see you.
Gotcha.
Gotcha.
You can't get me.
Yeah.
Wait, what weird stuff happens to you that you think that it's not real?
Anything. Anytime I'm in Venice, California, I'm just my head's on a swivel for sure. I mean,
Oh yeah.
anything sort of coincidence weird, anyone acting weird, I'm like, is that a homeless guy? No, it's a guy. Okay, all right. Where's the camera? It's a kid. Cool. It's a young white male. Got it. Awesome. Where's the camera? Where's the camera? There it is.
It's
See you. What's up? I mean, gym
uh,
stuff. That's what we were originally gonna start with, but you know, people just acting super weird. I mean, you having an argument in Venice on the boardwalk with John Carl about Pokemon Go. Do you remember that?
yeah, acting in public.
Acting.
Yeah. A mutual friend of ours shot a prank video where I smashed his phone. It was a fake phone, but I was angry at my boyfriend for playing Pokemon Go too much. And he was really ignoring me because he was about to catch a very rare Pokemon.
Yeah. Probably a little too specific of a execution, but I like the idea.
It's not exactly a timeless concept. I also, on that same boardwalk, did another prank collab with a boxing friend of mine, Shane Faison of Fight Tips.
Mhm.
And he has one of those VR goggle things. And it's weird
Oh,
because I guess it does fit his boxing channel. He has those VR goggles, right? That we all are familiar with now. But the type he had were made by putting a phone in front of
mhm.
the goggles. And so you could turn the front phone camera on and see what's in front of you on the display, just like you're looking with your eyes not covered.
Right.
So everyone on the boardwalk thinks my eyes are covered, but I can see everything and know where I am, kind of. I mean, it's an odd experience, but you can see where you're going. And so then I'm playing a kickboxing game and not aware of the people around me and slowly, aggressively kicking and punching, getting closer to people on the boardwalk.
Did you get anybody?
I mean, I didn't kick anyone, but they got freaked out like I was going to, but I knew where they were, so I would never get them. And of course, I'm like breathing heavily and Kia,
You made
that's the
sounds.
prank.
Kia. That's your
Did I
kickboxing
make
sounds.
sounds? Yeah. Yeah. I
What
fully
key?
committed. Also, he didn't do this. He had me do it on his channel instead, not realizing.
That's weak. You got to do it yourself.
Again, I will look stupid for comedy for you.
Fair enough. That's a pretty good prank ish. A prank sort of devolved from fun tricks to you just like walk up and slap someone in the face, and then you're like, bro, it's a prank.
They always kind of felt malicious. Like even when Kim gave me a bike as a prank and gifted me a brand new bike,
Oh,
she
yeah.
had to pretend to steal my old one. So there's a malicious element in there, even though it ended with the positivity.
Yeah.
And then to get her back, I pretended to smash her guitar and then gave her a new guitar.
And then to get her back, I pretended not to be friends with her anymore. And now I haven't spoken with her in 5 years.
Ghost prank.
That would be my prank.
Gotcha.
Gotcha. Bro, it's just a prank. Chill.
Bro, it's just a prank. Chill. I'm gonna start saying that. Like when I don't file my taxes. Bro, it's just a prank. Chill.
Bro. Bruh.
Be cool, government.
Yeah.
The clear car prank. I'm still so proud of. I mean, it just was April 1st. That
Mhm.
was a year ago, but I turned Christine's car fully looking clear.
Yeah, that was outside the box thinking for sure.
Thank you. It was harmless because, you can take it off your car, but there's still an element of now you look stupid in your car. There's a negative thing there.
Yeah.
How is there a positive prank?
I think there's like a positive payoff. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Like there was one where what's his name gave fake parking tickets, and then you open you know how it comes in an envelope?
Yeah.
You open the envelope and it was $20 and it was like, hey, I hope you're having a great day.
Yeah,
But
that's cute.
he still has
You
to
have to
write a
have that
ticket.
element of surprise, their reaction, and it's always a negative thing.
Yeah. And the person is like, what do you mean? I can park here. And then he has to be like, no, you can't. Sorry, goodbye. You know, like that type of stuff that's not a cool. It's a cool, you get a good payoff, but you still get pranked. And pranking is essentially just playing a mean trick as I sort of
Yeah.
conceptualize it.
I just saw one on TikTok, which was just a clip that someone else ripped from YouTube on their clips channel on TikTok, which is a whole other story.
Oh God. Uh-huh.
Um, and I,
The worst is when it's just somebody holding a phone filming their TV of Friends.
yeah,
And you see their like little toes, you know, and I'm like, what am I
yeah.
watching? What is
Except it
this?
has 5 million views.
I know.
Okay, so anyway, I'm watching this prank, which I don't know the origin of, and I should have researched. But this guy he's got like a sack of money. You don't know it's a sack of money. He just got like this sketchy
Like
looking
it's
sack. And it's sketchy because he's wearing a ski mask
oh.
and he's walking on the street. So immediately you get bad vibes. And then he walks up to a woman next to probably her boyfriend. And he says, "Excuse me, ma'am, may I see your purse, please?"
Uh-huh.
So you have what looks like a thief asking to see your purse. And the dude steps up and he's like, "What the?" And she's like, "Hold on, let me, hun, I got this." And he goes, the thief is like, "I'd like to, please let me see your purse." And she's like,
Mhm.
"I got it right here." I don't know why she presented her purse. And then he pulls money out of his sack and puts it in her purse. He's like, "You've been reverse robbed. Have a nice day." And he walks away.
That's funny. So he gave her the option.
Yeah.
And that's not super embarrassing. I guess yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good prank is you present someone with the option of being trusting in a good person or not, and then you reward the trusting good person.
But there's still that negative moment of a thief walking up to you.
Right. Right. I'm picturing like a black and white striped shirt. You know what I mean? Like a
Yeah.
hamburglar.
The stack of money with a dollar sign on it.
Yeah. A satchel, like and like a stick of dynamite, like in Looney Tunes or whatever.
Yeah. Ugh.
I don't know if I've ever been pranked. I don't think I'd be a very good prankster. I know that when I'm surprised with something, I don't respond not well or poorly. I respond with nothing because I'm like, I don't understand. And then I just sit there like stone faced and they're like, it's a surprise party. Do you realize that? And I'm like, huh, for who? And they're like, for you. And I'm like, huh. Oh,
And everybody has their phone
all
out,
right.
like all around you, filming nothing.
Yeah. It's just like a no response. That's my like if I was ever punked, I just like wouldn't get it. Knock on
Ugh,
wood. Don't punk me. Don't punk me.
that whole thing. The people are always like, "I love surprises." Yeah, of course you do. Everyone loves surprises. I do not.
You don't love surprises. You love like good surprises. Like, you know.
Even a good surprise. I would walk into my own surprise party being like, "Well, crap, I'm in a onesie. I did not expect I haven't combed my hair in 3 days. Could you just not surprise me, please? I would like to know. I've already
Yeah.
eaten a ton. I can't have any alcohol at this party, but this just doesn't
No,
fit my macros. I
I
don't
will
need to be
say
surprised.
the surprise birthday party is such a tough move. Like I've had one on me. It worked out okay because
I was
again, I
there.
had this horrible reaction. Other than that, it was a great party, well executed. But I've done a couple for other people. I did one for a girlfriend I had a couple years ago. Well, I guess 100 years ago, and she was gonna
He's a
wear like
gnome.
a dumpy sweatshirt or something to the bar, and I was like, I think you should go put on something nicer. And she was like, "What did you just say to me?" And I was like,
Oh,
"Ugh,
no.
I think you should put on something nice. Like I didn't want, like I stuck with it because I knew that she didn't want to, I was like dragging her out. She didn't want to go anyway. But when she got there, she was like, so happy I look presentable. You know what I mean? But then I
Yeah.
had to bear the brunt of her thinking I was a
The
total
wrath.
jerk off rat. You know what I mean? Like, ugh, it was awful. But
Yeah.
they like never work out that seamlessly, like on TV or in the movies or
Nor
whatever.
do pranks. That's why they're all faked now. It's
I've
so hard.
I've so I'm on Casting Networks, the website, the service
Yes.
that has
And you got a call for the prank show. Me too.
multiple times, like once a month at least. Hi, we're looking for people for a prank where we blow
Hmm.
up your car or whatever. Like,
I tried to submit Christine. I was like, she needs to prank me. And they're like, well, you can't know about it. I'm like, I'm good at acting. I can definitely not know. Please do it.
but now it's like so clearly fake. It's being cast. It's being cast. It's crazy.
Well, to their credit, they wrote back being like, you can't know about it. We can't work with Christine because you're the one that submitted this. We need it to be a
Mm-hmm.
real reaction. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you're like, uh-huh.
Mm-hmm. Because they were trying to prank you.
I'm still waiting on it. Bring it. I did
Right.
one. I guess I don't know if it's a prank or it's more one of those social experiment things where I used my buddy's Lamborghini.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever see this? Stevie and I shot this where I had a Lamborghini. No. Yes. No, I was in a crappy
Gold
car.
diggers.
Yeah, the gold
Yeah.
digger prank.
Yeah.
Where I had a crappy car and I'd get a guy to go out with me, which is emotionally taxing in itself to meet someone on a street in LA and get them to go to lunch with you in a short conversation. Which I would that would be my task. And then as soon as I would get that to happen, Stevie would come in with her Lamborghini and try and swoop the dude. And we'd
Right.
see if he would stick to the person that he agreed to, or Stevie with the Lambo. And then if it wasn't working, she had this in her pocket that she like, you can drive if you want.
Oh, nice. So
Which
who
is
did you cast as the guy?
shut up. We actually did it. And it was the worst day of my life. I was so drained. Afterwards, we got dinner and I didn't say a word. I that's when I truly realized I was an introvert.
Meeting people on the street, talking to them, especially for a video, especially for like when you have a desired outcome for a video, extremely taxing emotionally, physically,
Mm-hmm.
draining for sure.
But I don't know how people do it. They must be just full on extroverts and fueled by that human interaction versus drained.
I think that they're fueled by the result, or they are extroverts, or they built up a callus for it. I told you one of my first jobs, right, was like essentially begging on the street for political donations.
Ugh.
I was one of those people that said like, "Hey, do you have 5 minutes for PETA or whatever?" And it
You
was
didn't tell me this. That's tough.
brutal, tough job, really tough job because it was tough for a million reasons. You had to stop someone from walking. You had to catch them on the street. You had to engage in cold conversation, and they hate you for stopping them, and eventually because they know
Yeah.
you're going to ask them for money. And there was all these weird tricks we would do, like we would stand. You have to stand in the middle of the walkway facing the people walking. You know, you
Mhm.
wouldn't stand off to the side.
This was pre when everybody's on their phone, right? You had a little more eye contact.
This was 2009, 10. So a little bit of
Yeah,
contact,
still
but
phone.
you know, still there were still phones. Yeah, it was a tough job, but I mean, I built up calluses for sure. Met so many
Wow.
people, and they hated me, and then they loved me because you know.
So did you succeed at all? I wouldn't get a single person.
I got really good at it. Yeah, it was tough. I mean, I got really
Wow.
good, meaning like I started from a negative 1,000,
Mhm.
and I got to like a
Like you're stretching.
positive 5. You know, yes, exactly. But I would say I got above. I mean, you know, they we tallied all our stuff at the end of the day every day. By the end of it, I was killing everybody.
Nice. That's
But
awesome.
I mean,
How is that transferable? Do you use it now? Are you using it on me right now? Do you want my money? Okay, fine.
hi, do you have
Account
5 seconds to
number.
talk about? Do you have 5 seconds? And now when I see people doing it on the street, I'm like, nice try, but you're doing it wrong. You should be standing like this,
Yeah.
and you should be starting me with a tough hook. You know? Do you
You
like
grab the
animals?
sign and start spinning it for him.
Yeah. Do you have 5 minutes to protect puppies from you know like horribly? You
Yeah.
know, it was a tough job. It was yeah, it was not a great job, but it yeah, I built up calluses. I ended up being able to, and I go through phases now where I'm more or less comfortable with it, but I was able to stomach cold talking to anyone and people who like were violently against my stance. I forget what it was, like political donations or something, which was already like pretty charged. But Massachusetts, everyone's going to basically be pretty similar to heavily.
But did you come across people that were completely different stance and told
Yeah,
you about it?
yeah, and they were
Gave you a
more
piece of their
knowledgeable than
mind?
I was. That
Oh
was the best,
no.
was that they were giving me a piece of their mind, and I'd be like, "Oh, I didn't know that. How did when was that?" And then they'd be like, "Ugh, all right." So first, you know, they grab my shoulder, like, "You're first of all, you know," and I'm like, "You're in, pal. We're talking. I won. You know what I
We're
mean?
friends.
We're best buds." That
Uh,
was I don't know why I got that. Was a really dumb job for me to get. It was outside in the summer. I was a kid. Could have been a lot
did you
worse
make
jobs.
more the more you brought in?
No, and
Huh,
so
not
that's eventually
commissioning.
why I was like, this job is kind of stupid because
Yeah, because you're so good at it, and you're making the same as the guy that sucks.
yeah. So then I transitioned from making a lot of money for my boss or campaign or whatever to
Yeah.
be like, so what are you doing later? Do you want to? Should we get like dinner or like? Yeah, it was fun. I met a lot of people. They're really nice.
I had a similar job, except exact opposite, because I'm presenting them with a very positive thing. I feel like
Exact
have I
same
never
thing,
talked
except
about
totally
this?
the opposite.
So I worked for a modeling agency, which is really just, I don't know, this company that would get the parents to sign their kids up so that they would pay for classes to learn how to model and get their headshots done. It was, and maybe they would place kids in magazine photos for stuff. It wasn't really a modeling agency. Their business model was getting people to pay for classes.
So it was like a training acting school, not an
Yeah,
acting,
sure.
not an agent, not an acting
But
position.
they called themselves an agency and they
Yes,
had
of
people
course.
like me with these cards to fill out. And I was basically a scout for the agency.
Hmm.
That's how I got to feel. But really, I'm just someone that's trying to get someone to sign up for their newsletter.
Any babes? Oh, how was this children act
There's
modeling?
definitely, I'm
Okay.
aiming younger.
Sorry, never
But no,
mind.
you could definitely, you could go teens plus.
Okay.
But your whole job is to be like, oh my goodness. And
Have you ever
discover
thought of
them.
modeling?
Have you? And it's and the parents are flattered, and the person's like, "Wow, I just they get to go tell their friends that they got plucked from obscurity in a
Yeah,
mall. I'm
in a
in a mall,
mall. Imagine.
and I make 50 cents for everything I get filled out.
Oh, so how many fake ones did you fill out?
None. It was too easy.
Oh, Yeah.
You get to make people feel good for a living, even though it's still a scam.
If I was filling them out by hand, I wouldn't be able to keep up with all the.
Yeah, exactly.
A waste
Like,
of
here,
time.
fill this out.
Oh, that's funny. I guess yeah, it's a different. If they're interested in what you're selling, then it's way different than you selling them something they're violently not
Right. Well, a
interested
good
in.
salesperson isn't
A friend of
selling, it's
mine,
just solving a problem.
a friend of mine would do. I mean, this is way back when he would go to bars and nightclubs or whatever, and he would have like a bag of lighters or T-shirts or hats or whatever from Camel cigarettes, or not Camel, Marlboro. I don't know, so some cigarette company, and he'd be like, "Hey, like they'd take a picture of your driver's license. It was literally just data mining for sure, but he'd give you a cool lighter or like a um, keychain or whatever, bottle of like keychain." And he was like, I had to get 50 things filled out a night. I would go to one bar, get it all done. I'd get 40 in the first 45 minute hour. You know what I mean? Just because people were like, oh, is that one of those blowtorch lighters? Yeah, of course I'll fill the thing, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And it was just totally different. And then he's telling me about that job. And I'm like standing in the middle of the street being like, getting verbally punched in the stomach every other sentence. You know what I mean?
Yikes.
That's a good job.
Speaking of verbally punched in the stomach.
Go on.
That's the whole reason Fitheads to fill you in, that what we were planning on talking about today is just because I wanted to vent about this. I got yelled at in the gym.
Ooh, what happened?
I was Olympic lifting and it was heavy and I kept dropping it. And he was like, do you need to drop it every time?
Oh, one of those. Were they bumper plates or were they regular plates?
Bumper plates. And it's on a platform. That's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, well, he doesn't understand what you're supposed to do and why I'm doing this. Right. I'm trying to make this guy seem like a normal dude this whole time in my head, because he just saw me film too, and I dropped him. And this is like the 8th time I've done it. I'm doing it 10 times because it's an imam.
Right.
And I like fist pumped at the camera because like it's for a YouTube video. And so he sees me, I'm sure, and is like, this. Ugh. Oh, she is just trying to get attention. Does she need? Why is she doing this? Because she wants to annoy everyone. So I'm like, oh, he doesn't get it. Cool. And so I walk over to him like, oh yeah, sorry, I thought everyone had headphones on and it wasn't even a thing. But like in the middle of me saying that, he cuts me off and goes, they have headphones on and it's still annoying. And I was like, oh, okay. He thinks I'm doing this because I want attention. And so when I need to explain to him, it's not that. And so I'm like, oh, I'm not trying to annoy people. And and in the middle of me saying that, he's like, well, you are. Everyone here is looking and annoyed. So he's now using the whole gym as ammo against me, which, by the way, the guy next to the platform next to me then interjects. He's like, doesn't bother me.
Nice. My man. I love that.
Top. I know.
What a dork. Okay. I have a million questions. One.
We're still going. Okay.
Oh no, keep going. What happened?
There's more. So this is Derek, by the way, who's nice to me next to me. I know this now because I introduced myself later.
Wait. But so the guy who yells at you, what is he doing? Is he like on a bike and he just yells from across the thing?
Yeah. He's doing wide lap pull downs. He's right behind me.
Okay. So he's on a machine.
And he doesn't have headphones in. So I'm like, okay, I get it. I'm annoying. So after he cuts me off again, saying like, I'm not trying to be annoying, I was like, okay, so it's the style of lifting and it's dangerous if, and then my phone beeps because I'm supposed to lift again.
Nice.
And I go,
hold that thought.
Yeah. And I'm like, I'm happy to discuss this with you. I really just need to do this one lift. I got to stay on my, and he's like, it's dangerous, cuts me off. And then I do my lift and I come back over and I'm and so now after like, my lift,
you have 55 seconds to make your case.
Yeah, right. This is exactly it. But the whole time I'm smiling, and this is also a problem of mine. When I get nervous, I smile. And my mom's like, that's going to get you in trouble or make you a performer, a very good stage performer. I'm like, well, it's both.
Yeah.
So, shout out my mom.
Two-time.
Integration.
That's 2 points. You get an extra point for that.
Okay, so then I come back over and I'm like, and I'm huffing and puffing now because this is like I'm getting a PR. He
Right.
interrupts my PR in this email, which is why I was filming. I was so stoked how it was going, and I needed to film more. And instead, I'm spending my time trying to help this guy understand what's going on because I don't want. Honestly, when he first came over to me, or when he first yelled, "Do you need to drop that every time?" I was like, "Ooh, a new friend." I'm like, I'm gonna be friends with this guy. Let's go. I want to talk about Olympic lifting with him.
Which is a great
It's
attitude.
not how it went.
I gotta tell you,
This is
that's a
not
great
how.
attitude.
No. At this point now, I'm like holding back tears because that's how rude he's being to me, and I can't get through to him. And so I come over, I'm huffing and puffing, and I'm like, so I'm lifting at the edge of my abilities, and to try and bring it down, he's like, it's so annoying and loud, and like, and walks away. He storms away as I'm trying to, and I'm like, the style of lifting, and he's gone.
Yeah.
And so I'm actual like welling up because I'm weak. Like I know analytically in my brain, this guy's wrong. I held my case. I was sweet and doing my best to connect with him, and I could not get through to him. And that the fact that I couldn't get through to him just made me a weak female crying in a gym. How silly. I'm like, can I ever be a good leader if I can't even stop my emotions? So now I'm like questioning my entire ability to communicate with the world or like ever grow as a business person because of all of this, whatever. And so now I'm deadlifting with like sucking in tears, like trying to finish my workout and not look like a loser. Because I'm honestly just mad at myself for like crying at this point. And then the guy, Derek, next to me, he's like, you don't need to feel bad. Which is making me feel worse, right? The number was like, don't get upset. You get more upset. And he's like, you're on a platform, you're powerlifting. This guy's stupid. He doesn't understand. He does like, you're not in the wrong. No one cares. He's like, has anyone ever had a problem with this before? Like, no, this is the first time I've ever gotten yelled at.
Yeah, of course.
So I finished my lift. I'm really glad I'm friends with Derek now. And then the dude, 10 minutes later, comes back in. And he comes over to me. This is after I'd collected myself. I even like texted Christine being like, I can't believe I'm crying in the gym. I'm such a...
Yeah.
I've collected myself. And he comes back and he's like, I'm sorry. You're free to do whatever you want. You shouldn't hurt yourself just because someone like me is annoyed.
Wow.
And I'm like, okay, so then I'm welling up at that point. And I'm like, this is my superpower. Now you feel even worse because I'm crying.
Right. Perfect. Now the water on.
Yeah. There was never a tear. It was just, you could tell that I was like trying to hold back my emotions. And I was like, yeah, I get it. It's annoying. And he's like, no, like what clicked for him, I think, is that when he said back to me, it's dangerous, then he was like, wait a minute. Oh, she's not doing it to get attention. She's doing it because she has to. That's a part of it. But it didn't sink in until he then felt really bad and came back. And so I said to him, I get it. We all have bad days. And then that like hit him. He was like, something happened to him that day that he was taking it out on me for sure. Nice. And then I made him introduce himself. So now Richard, which definitely isn't his real name that I wrote down in my notes, along with the note yelled at me, 70s porn stash, is my friend, I guess. And I'm sure I'm going to see him.
Whether he likes it or not.
Again, in the gym.
What's your plan next time you see Richard? Head nod?
Oh, be super cordial.
Dap?
Hey, bud. Because the whole time, it's what I wanted was to be this dude's friend. But man, it emotionally messed it up. Even after that interaction, I'm still like replaying it in my mind. It bothered me into my shower. I'm like, why am I letting this get to me? But he was super vicious. And I analytically was like, this doesn't matter. But my emotions were like, this matters so much.
Yeah. Well, I think you handled it about as well as you could have. And I think it went about as well as it could have if that had to happen.
I would love to hear his side of it. How would he tell this story?
Can we get him on the episode?
I know, right?
That's
He's like,
if you can do that, then you win this interaction. If you can get him on this podcast.
get Richard to come. I mean, I have plenty of time. I'm sure I'll see him again. Actually, that's the first time I've seen him, and everyone else there who was supposedly annoyed sees me all the time dropping weights.
Right.
So
There's
also another scenario where he went to complain about me, and they were like,
actually, you're an idiot. Yeah, exactly. And then he's like, oh, I better cover my tracks or else I'm the bad guy in this story. Does your gym play music?
yeah, and it's loud. It's really
Okay.
loud, but my slams are
And
louder.
people wear headphones on top of them. That's what I was going to
Yeah.
ask. Because my gym is in the basement. There's no music unless I turn it on. And so then when I go in there and
Ooh, that's
someone's
rare.
breathing heavy, I'm like, can you stop breathing? It is incredibly annoying. Jeez Louise, you know? So I wonder what happened to Richard that day. And I wonder what happened in between. You're right. That's a good question.
Yeah.
Did he go to the front desk and was like, this chick is, first of all, lifting weights. Ugh. Second of all, she's dropping them. Yeah.
I get it though. There's that culture of Planet Fitness, the lunk alarm. People don't understand that there's a reason to do it, and it's because you'll freaking hurt yourself.
Yeah. And it's cool. And who cares? And mind your business. You know what I mean?
It was specifically 10 of them. I was really close. And I kind of tried to bring it down gently after the first. And I was like, I can't believe that I'm adjusting for him, but I can because that's who I am.
I mean, there are adjustments you should make for other people when it's a no brainer and it's a no effort for you. Like not letting a plate flap down, like putting a plate flat, or if you're gonna drop a plate by itself. A plate just like slams down and it's like a thunderclap.
Yeah, like letting it go.
It's bad for your ears, it's bad for everybody's ears. And that's something that you could do with a little more effort and no risk of injury to yourself and blah 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 blah. But no. Honestly, like I would God, I don't know. I don't know what I would have done. I probably just would have laughed in his face and be like, I know. I don't know. And then just come back and done my thing. I'm impressed that you went over and like tried to explain everything to him.
Because I thought I had a great argument and I couldn't get through to him. Christine was like, I would have been like, this ain't Planet Fitness, and then flick him off.
I know. I'm sure. I'm sure. Yes, I'm sure she would have done that along with every other brilliant response you think of in the shower 2.5 years later. Like, of course. And then you time travel in your brain back to the thing. And then you're like, gotcha. And then he's like, oh my God, I am so sorry. I'm going to subscribe to your YouTube channel, and then like he'll buy you a pizza, like obviously, of course, these things happen afterwards. Thanks a lot, Kristen.
2 years later, I still would have reacted the same. I would have responded the same way. I just still wish I wouldn't have cried.
Well, I think what you wish is he didn't see you crying. Well,
no,
actually,
I don't want him to get to me. I don't want to. I feel weak that I let my emotions win, but it's like,
well, yeah, no, I understand what you're saying because it feels like a weakness that you're letting someone get to you that doesn't bother you. But what's the alternative? You don't ever feel anything ever unless like that's something you want to feel. So then what do you just turn on happiness and turn it off whenever you feel like it? You know what I mean?
That sounds great.
You should allow some emotion. I mean, you're only going to laugh when you decide to laugh. Laughing is inherently an involuntary reaction. You know what I mean? So to say that I don't want to be affected by this emotionally is kind of wishful thinking.
No freaking Buddhist monk would get their panties in a bunch about some guy who's speaking mean to them.
Yeah, they seem like a real fun crowd, that Buddhist monk crowd. Don't they like not speak for years at a time? And
I don't know, but I feel like
what kind of music are we banging at the Buddhist monk temple and Buddhist monastery? You know what I mean?
It's a sound bath.
A lot of like, I'm like, cool, I love this one. What are they wearing? Like real functional stuff, right? Just gigantic robes that they, how many dance parties are they doing? How many stand-up comedians? How many Buddhist stand-up comedians do you know? You know what I mean?
Oh, Google. Come on.
Come on, Google. I think I think you handled it as well as you could have. I'm really impressed that you went over and talked to him. I don't even
I
know what
really tried.
I know.
Wait,
And to
but
like
I
form a
wonder how many people aren't talking to me, sitting there stewing, going, this jerk is doing it for attention. No, people don't know
well,
what Olympic lifting is. They don't
I
watch the
know.
Olympics, or even when they see it, they're not thinking that's something that someone does and it's a necessity to drop at the end.
Yeah. Well, that's their problem. I mean, it's like
No, it's my
it's like
problem because I look like a douche.
it's like when I changed my opinions on people who drive crazy, you know. Now I'm like, well, if someone like zips around and is bombing through traffic and like
They're
cuts me off
pregnant.
and whatever, I'm like, yeah, someone in that car must be pregnant and they're rushing to the hospital. And it's
Yes.
such a more satisfying, peaceful way of, you know what I mean? Not like getting worked up, not, being a little
Yeah,
mad that they could
agree.
have put me in danger, but I'll just avoid them and I'll just get away from them. If they want to drive themselves off a cliff.
Or I'll put myself in that scenario. If somebody does a dumb move in traffic, I'm like, oh yeah, I could have done that. Yep. Not their fault. They're
Nice one,
just bad
pal.
at yeah.
Sounds like a real Richard driving that car. You know what I mean?
Corn
I don't
stash
know. I
Richard.
haven't. I mean, that's a conflict, a direct personal conflict that you just dealt with. Congratulations. Those don't
Thank you.
don't happen that often, that
Do
much.
they or oh, and that's why I brought up the mask thing. Is this a result of our current
Yeah.
culture that now we got
Nosy.
to the point where he's it, it's his entitlement to tell me to shut the F up.
I don't know. I will say I'm always happier when after I've had this confrontation because it does remind me that I have to be better at, like, I don't like him. I think it's pretty rude typically. I think that guy was pretty rude. But it feels like a callus that I'm developing that I'm happy to be developing. And then next time I won't well up with tears. And next time I won't,
Exactly what I was
fumble over my
thinking.
words. I'll just be like, hang on, boss. I'll get you. I'll get you in 55 seconds. you know, or
Yeah.
maybe
Well,
this
that's
one,
what I was thinking in the shower. I'm like, I need more of this.
right?
I need to be, how do I get attacked more so I can handle it better?
Right. You want to get attacked within reason, obviously. You don't want to get attacked and then they follow you home and stab you to death. But you want to, that's a hard thing to sort of navigate.
Or is
I
it
don't
just
know.
that I'm frustrated because I couldn't control him. And so then I'm the jerk for actually, getting worked up that I'm not in control. Is that why I'm crying?
I think you're crying because it was a unexpected emotional confrontation that you are already at a heightened sort of emotional state because you're doing an EMOM and you're doing really well at it and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's like when people are on stage, they start crying because they accepted an award. But if you get an email
I'd
telling you won the
like
award,
to
I'm
think.
not sobbing at my
Yeah.
desk typically. I don't know. I thought you handled it
Well, to each his
really well.
own.
Now, I really want to start going to your gym and then just yelling at you every time.
Oh, and I don't know if I was reading into this, but after the altercation, there was another super beefy dude on the hack squat, and he was grunting to all hell. And I was
Nice.
like, "Is this in solidarity?" He was so loud, just his voice not dropping anything. He would finish a set and be like, "Ugh." And I'm like, I get it on the hack squat. Everyone feels that, and he was letting it rip. And I was like,
Wait,
this
after or
guy.
like during the last rep?
After the last rep,
After the last rep?
yeah.
That's a choice. Like sometimes on a heavy lift, you have to sort of exhale hard, vocally. But to do
Well,
it
like he's
after is
pushing
just
through the
so
last rep.
funny.
Okay.
So like and rack.
uh,
Like how tennis players do that weird little pseudo sexual groan moan every
Ah,
time they
ugh,
forehand.
ah. Or my kiyas when I'm doing my kickboxing.
Yeah, yeah. I used to love those. Sometimes in wrestling or in boxing or whatever, people like throw a punch like that.
Yeah.
And it was great because I was like, another cue that I know what you're doing. Thank you. I appreciate that. Like if for some reason I wasn't getting enough sensory input that you're trying to do a head kick because I see your body or your legs or your hips or your whatever.
Yeah,
Now
you
I get
also
the
get the
audio
audio.
cue also. I'm like, well,
That's
here it
funny.
comes. I guess.
There was one girl in my kickboxing gym who was incredibly good. So it's like making fun of her was not actually making fun of her. It was very respectful, but everybody was like, yeah, that's the pizza girl because she would always, pizza, pizza every time. And it was like she's just yelling pizza.
Pepperoni. Green peppers. Meat lovers.
That's how you knew it was an uppercut.
Yeah, exactly. Pineapple, pineapple, pineapple.
Yeah, I think it helped that she was super good.
Pineapple, 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 pineapple.
Does not belong on pizza. Okay, so you're joining Heimat to come defend me,
No,
please.
to yell at you every time.
Oh, right.
And I'll wear a mat, I'll wear a hat, or you know what I mean? I'll
It's
shave
a
or grow my
different
beard out
angry
depending
person
on. I'll get a
in
spray tan.
drag.
Yes.
Can you not?
Who's that thick girl in the yoga pants? My God.
Again on the hack squad grunting.
Oregano.
All right. Well, thank you for helping me talk through this to reform my memories in a more positive way so that it's cathartic. That's what therapy is. Now I feel better about it. I'm not looking back and ruminating and feeling negative. It's this new experience of the same thing. Thanks.
Yeah, it's a good spin on. I wonder what his version of the story was. I bet it was like I was rude to some girl and
No.
then I realized that I was wrong and I apologized to her. And she, you know what? She teared up because she was so touched by my apology.
Honestly, I'm still not mad at him because I see his side of it the entire time. I'm annoying. I'm filming myself. I'm obnoxious. I'm an influencer in the wild.
Mhm.
And he doesn't know what I'm doing. It very much comes off like I want attention. And when I said dangerous, if it's not going to click immediately. If someone said that to me and then I realized I was wrong, I'm not just going to go from very vicious to, oh, never mind.
That's true.
He
Also,
needed time to let it sink in. And it was really big of him that when it did sink in, he came back and apologized.
yeah,
And now we're friends.
Now we're best friends. You should bring a bag of chalk and just start like clapping that chalk, really. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you should change your setup now so that like you know how some weightlifters just like stomp their feet under the bar before they start?
Mm-hmm.
Definitely
Love
start
that.
doing that. And you should create a new brand of weightlifting shoes that has the platform. You still wear those shoes?
Yeah.
So you have the platform
Sometimes
in the back.
barefoot.
But here's what you do. You attach tap soles.
Oh,
So
they already feel like it.
It's a weightlifting shoe with a tap dance,
Yeah.
tap shoe sole. And so then you're stomping in and you're like
Alternative.
And when you're lifting, you do pizza like that. And you have a microphone, like a Britney Spears microphone, into a megaphone, so that you're like, sorry, it's for the video, you guys. Just whatever. Put your headphones on. And
for safety.
you go to Delta and you buy like a trash bag full of those crappy headphones, and you just have them out there and be like, hey, I got you guys headphones if you want to drown me out or whatever. I know that's so annoying, but anyway. Help yourself to one of these
silent disco,
crappy headphones, because they don't actually sound good and they hurt your ear. And there's like,
but also what I'm pumping into the headphones is a direct feed of me lifting.
And if there's any TVs at your gym, you commandeer like the aux cord or whatever, and you plug it into your camera, your phone, so that whatever you're filming is on all the screens all around you, so that they see They hear you in your silent disco headphones, and they see only a live feed of you on every screen everywhere. That's a good start. We'll figure out the rest later.
Oh, the full Richard experience.
You know what you do is you get a henna tattoo that just says Richard across your back.
Don't say anything. Just wait till he sees.
Yeah. Or like
Oh.
hi Richard.
He's right behind me. Oh, that's great.
You just get a t-shirt made. You don't necessarily need a tattoo, although that would go a lot better. It would be a lot better if like you're wearing a shirt and then you took your shirt off, your sports bra, and then like wherever the sports bra was not covering, it said Richard in like giant gothic letters. You know what I mean? And he's like, what?
I should come up with some prank for this dude. It's the perfect setup to like get back at him.
I know. But he learned his lesson. Good for him. Sort of. I really want to know what happened. Did he have a come to Jesus moment? Or did he try to complain to somebody else and they were like, no, you're wrong. And also, we're going to kick you out for harassing young girls. Yeah. Well, yeah. I think you played it really well. I think you
Thanks.
emotionally dealt with it well. You got yourself a nice little callus now. So next time somebody yells at you,
I'm gonna be super tough next time someone screams at me for a thing I can't explain.
and now you got a good plan for next time it happens.
So, you gonna go yell at that guy for sweating, or
Well, what happened in mine recently was there was a guy on the bike on an exercise bike, and he was just breathing incredibly loud, and I was like, "Is this guy gonna die?" And it's a small gym. It's in a it's an apartment complex gym.
so you
And so
definitely have his COVID if he's got
there's
it.
no for sure. I went to like all the way to the opposite end of the thing and just like pretended to stretch for 15 minutes and then turned the heat up really high, and so then he left. Thank God. But he was biking like it was, he was about to win the Tour de France. Like it was crazy. Like that. And I'm
Was
like
his biking crazy, or was he just not handling it
breathing
well?
crazy because I looked and he wasn't like, you can sort of tell when someone's like turned it up too heavy and they're pushing really hard. He was just sort of like dipty doing around, but his vocal breath was not reflecting that at all. It was off-putting. I didn't know, like, I was like, should I call an ambulance or what is going on? It was
Right.
bizarre, bonkers, but
The difference here, see, even if you would say something to him like you're being disruptive, you wouldn't do it in a just absolutely aggressive, mean way.
right.
Like Richard.
Right. Yeah, he could have said like, is there a way to not drop the weights like that? Or why do you
Yeah.
drop
You're
them?
being
Can you put them
disruptive.
down?
Like
And
it's
then you
kind
could
of
be
bugging
like,
me.
well, it's injury, there's a higher chance of injury. If I,
He
like,
came
let
at
it
me at
down
a 10.
slower.
Yeah.
Yeah, I find that like if you ask questions versus say things, then there's a better chance of you not looking like a total idiot. Like
He
why?
did ask, do you have to drop the weights every time? But it was, do you have to drop the weights every time?
Yeah, he said don't drop the weights. He just phrased it. The words are. But if you're, yeah, I don't know.
But certainly Christine, if someone comes at her at a 10, she'll come back at a 10.
Right.
So at least I commend myself for not being a 10, but maybe that's the wrong move. Maybe I should have matched him. What's your management style?
I think that if somebody comes at me at a 10, I want the range of things to go from 0 to 10.
Yeah, I feel like I need to yin their yang.
I want to be able to work up to a 10. If they come at me at 10 and then I come at me at 10, we're not going anywhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not going to start at a 10 and be like, you know what, actually, hold on one second. I'm not going to like go turn my stuff down, and neither are they. They're just going to walk away or get into a gunfight or whatever.
Have you seen the heavy breathing guy before? Is this
No, it's the first time I've ever seen him.
This was his first time.
So
well, it's first time on a bike, so he's out of breath.
Yeah. It's possible.
I can't wait to hear if you hear him again.
I know. We'll see. I don't. Yeah. Talk about a weird because it's your own. It just felt like he didn't know what he was doing, and maybe he'll learn. But if he does it again, I guess I'm just gonna turn the music on super loud. Maybe there's a YouTube video of some like heavy breathing that I can drown him out with. You know what I mean?
Outbreathe him.
That's what I'll do. I'll just make a video of myself breathing like in and out of a microphone. And then I'll find because the TV, it's a smart TV, so I can watch YouTube videos on the TV.
Yeah.
So I'll put a video of myself breathing
Unlisted.
into the microphone, just dead staring into the camera. You know?
Honestly, that feels like a good prank video. Whatever usage you can get out of putting something on the screen that is unexpected and getting people's reactions, pretty great.
Yeah, that's pretty good. What are you gonna do if you see Richard again?
Yeah, I'll be like, hey, and I'm sure my guess is that he'll do, try to avoid any sort of contact.
A nod, and then back down to his reading The Economist or whatever.
Oh no, now my goal is to get him on the podcast, obviously. Find out what happened that day that I was his punching bag. Yeah, that's another thing. It felt like a mean comment in real life. And that's what a mean comment is. Someone else is mad at their life and they're taking it out on you. And that's how it felt, where nothing I could do to get through to him because I was there to be his punching bag.
Right. And he blew off steam and then walked away. It's very, very smart on his part.
Yeah. Oh, he even said that. He was like, you're allowed to. Oh, well, first he said, you were here first. And I was like, it's not about being here first. It has nothing to do with that. Just because I was here before you doesn't mean that I'm allowed to be annoying.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like,
you're allowed to be annoying.
You're allowed to make noise just like I'm allowed to storm off. And I was like, yes, I guess. And like, yeah, you are.
Well, that's a good point also. He is allowed to get irrationally mad. And he's also allowed to take the time, think about himself, reflect, and be like, oops, I was wrong. My bad. I'm still worked up because I got fired this morning, or because the wife yelled at me, or whatever. It sounds like
he's allowed to get upset, but I mean, then he affects someone else with that upset. I think is where the problem becomes, because you're
affecting him with your lifestyle as well.
Yeah, right.
I guess you both need to be a little bit more tolerant. He needs to be more tolerant of you just living your life, and you need to be more tolerant of him throwing a hissy fit. Oh, that's funny. I agree with that though. As long as he comes back as like, sorry, I'm sorry.
I can be the punching bag.
I have anger issues.
Well, yeah, he's having a day.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I appreciate the catharsis. Therapy podcast. Well, you have one pivoting. At least.
We're pivoting to a therapy podcast. I love that.
And if you can rate and review our therapy podcast on Apple Podcasts, that helps us out a whole lot. And we'll see you next week.